Welcome to One Club Champ. We are Aylesbury United. The year is 2027 and we are in the Championship in our second season. As you remember, in our first season, we made it all the way to the playoff final and lost in the 121st minute of extra time to Burnley. And we're halfway through the season and we're sitting second in the table behind Southampton. Next up in the league is Southampton at home. We're still ground sharing at Adams Park, the home of Wycombe Wanderers. And let's give you an update on how we've been doing so far since the first game of the season. First game of the season was that 2-1 loss to Notts Forest. And then we kind of had a bit of an inconsistent start through August. We had 3 losses, a draw and 3 wins. And then these 2 losses away, 2-0 to Brentford, 2-0 to Blackburn, we were not doing too well at all. We then went on a bit of a good run. So through September, 3 wins and 1 loss. Through October, 5 wins from 5. Through November, 3 wins and 1 loss. And now, coming up to mid-December, we've just had 2 back-to-back wins. You'll see from the goal scorers, you see a lot of Lucas Potler and Abubakar Sacco. And we've had a few other goal scorers starting to pop up as well. Pardo, Luke May, Albertine Pereira, Bruno Valdez. So we're doing okay. Let's go to the transfers and kind of see what transpired after the transfer window. We, as you know, we brought in Maluleki, who is now 1.9 million, 20-year-old South African midfielder. Luke May is doing very well for us. Still a loanee, but he's now up to 8.75. Jose Alberto Pardo has been struggling for minutes, but that's only because we've got Sacco and Potler up front. Fawaz Al-Harfi, who is our Riyad Mahrez-esque type player, as inconsistent. Young foreigner playing at Aylesbury, so he hasn't had too many starts. 5 starts, 11 appearances, couple of goals, and he's done okay. We've trained him up a little bit more to play on the left-hand side of midfield, which works better with our formation, and so he's got some potential. Let's have a look at some of the other transfers that we have. Juan Carlos, at 1.4 million, hasn't really played too much just because we've got Luke May and Deli Basharu that can play in there. The goalkeeper, Serafin Malero, 21 goals conceded, 21 appearances, 6.88. He's doing all right. Young Spanish keeper new to the Championship. I'm okay with that. Better than Gunnarsson and has got some good potential. Also, we binned off this young lad, Armand Bahia, sent him on loan to one of our affiliates, Wingate and Finchley, and he's managed to score a goal. Good for him. And he's played a few cup games, so he's got 6 goals in 15 games out on loan, but I don't think he'll ever touch our starting lineup. Let's see who else we have. Emmanuel Adeje Soa has been putting in some good appearances on the right back position and left back position. Joe Bryan is our other left back. He's doing pretty well. He's 34 years old. Still got fairly good physicals. Natural fitness at 14, but you can start to see his acceleration, stamina, strength, and balance are all starting to career downwards. But he does a good job for us. You can see progress-wise, he's really starting to drop off quickly. He's only got a contract for a couple of years, and we can definitely sell him off at the end. Here we've got Jordan Lukaku, who has played a handful of games too. He's doing really well at 1.3 million. Again, he's 33. Still, his physicals are starting to drop off as well. Who else do we have here that we brought in? Have a little look at. Navarro has also done fairly well for us. Slightly younger at 32. Physicals seem to be holding steady. 7 appearances, 3 off the bench. Because of our ability to rotate these fullbacks, none of them have had any kind of poor injuries, and we've done pretty well with consistency in the fullback positions, which hasn't been something we've had previously. Here is our signing, not necessarily signing of the season, but we got him on a free transfer at Nkunku, and he is valued at 16.75 million. He's by far our most valued player in our team. But he hasn't really set the world alight. 6.86 average rating, 13 appearances, only a couple of goals. But he has been playing a little bit better for us. You know, as you see through here, 6.8, 6.7, 6.7 again, and then he comes through with a really good performance with a goal and an 8.7 rating. So we'll look at that particular game because he did really well. We played him wide right midfield, but he hasn't done the business for us. Maybe there's a potential of us actually selling him at the end of the season if we could get money. Anywhere near 10 million for him would be an excellent kind of basically good transaction for a free transfer to come in and sell him off. So Tom Deli Basharu is doing exceptionally well this year. Look at his rating, 7.59 centre midfield, 16 appearances, 3 goals, and he's now valued at 8.25 million. Now let's have a little look at some other players that we've got in our team. Japhet Tanganga, 7.33. Also doing pretty well in the centre-back position. And here's an interesting one. We signed him on a free transfer, this kid, Luke Matheson. Now, he's currently at Rochdale. He's like their 16-year-old lad. So he's got 4 potential here. He's valued at 4.9. We brought him in at 8. Got him on £8,000 a week. We tried to get him in the pre-season. He wanted like £30,000 a week. And so we let him be basically a free transfer. And as it got to the middle of November, still without a club, he decided to accept £8,000. Again, hasn't set the world alight. 6.62 average rating, only 1 assist. He came in and was very unfit, so we're building up his fitness. But the hope is that he's still young enough at 25 that we can get some good years out of him. Let's have a look at our 2 main forwards. Abubakar Sako. Now, he's at 9.75 million. We've actually rested him the last couple of games because he was getting tired, and now he's in pretty good condition to move forward. Scored 9 league goals in 14 appearances, 7.62 rating, and we've got him for another year on the contract. At 25, we could get him up to 15 million and sell him. And here's our main player. Here he is, Lucas Potler. Now, he's valued only at 4.5 million, and that's because his contract runs out at the end of the year. Now, you can see his current ability and potential ability have gone through the roof. And you can see here in terms of his progress, he, from the beginning of September to now, has gone from a 3.5 star to a 4.5 star. So he's gone up a full star since the beginning of the season. He's got 12 league goals in 20 appearances, 3, obviously the non-competitive goals as well. But here's where we could be forced to sell him. Watford are interested in the transfer, and with his contract running out at the end of the year, I don't know. We might be feared that we won't be able to keep him. Now, if I try and offer him a new contract, he says he's not interested in entering contract negotiations with the club because of the interest from elsewhere. The hope is that if we ride through January transfer market and do not sell him if an offer comes in, then he would sign a contract. But that's a big gamble, and if a club comes in and wants to offer us somewhere close to 10 million, even though, I don't know, maybe they could offer him a free contract, I don't know. It's one of these things. What do we do? Do we take the money because he was going to refuse to sign a contract, or do we gamble that we get promoted this year in the hope that he wants to stay for the next year. So I don't know, we'll see how that pans out across the year. Let's get ourselves into the Championship and have a look at the league table. As you can see, we're second, doing incredibly well. You'll see this was our form, how we started the season pretty badly. We were sitting all the way down in the second half of the table, and then we've put on that run and we have gone right up to second, and now we're consistently been in second. And we're meant to be playing Southampton, who have gone through somewhat of the same. They've been first now since the 8th week or 9th week of the season. Lucas Potler is second for goal scorers. Abubakar Sako, we've got basically all Aylesbury players are in the top 3 average ratings, and I'm hopeful that this can be our top promotion season. If we go back into our schedule, a couple of crazy games here. 7-3 away win to Barnsley. Crazy result. Luke May had great game there. 5 key passes. Down here, Sako with a brace of goals and an assist. All through the team. They're the types of games that we love. Now, we would love a 7-3, but I doubt that that's the type of game we're going to have against Southampton here. In the last 4 games, we haven't conceded a goal, but we've managed to score 5, 7, 8 goals. But Southampton are going to be a tough challenge for us. So let's go to the game. Let's set ourselves up. I feel like that's a pretty good update on all of the players and the transfers. Both of us come in with strong form. However, interestingly enough, the last 4 games we've played against Southampton, we've had 4 wins. So, I don't know, maybe that's some good omens for us when we go and play them right now. Here's going to be our setup, 4-4-2, Joe Bryan at left back, with Luke Matheson at right back, Maluleki and Tanganga at centre back. Ross Black would be our normal starter, but is only on 55% match sharpness after coming back from injury. Bruno Valdez gets the start on the left with Pereira on the right. Not really a right midfielder, but has done okay. Luke May and Tom Delly in the centre with Sako and Potler up front. We have some good options off the bench in Al-Hafi and Pardo and Kunku and Sowa. We also created a second formation, a 5-3-2 formation. Obviously, this is these players wouldn't play in these positions, but it's similar to this. It just allows for us to play 3 centre backs and 3 centre midfielders with the quality that we have in our centre midfield. As you can see, we've got Nkunku on the bench here, and he's our most valued player. Here we go then. Let's get into this game. We're at home to Southampton. It's first versus second, and they've got some great players. Roman Bravu, 21 million up front, and Bamba is their 8 million left midfielder. Great physicals, but not a lot else. He's also scored 4 goals. Who's this guy? Macris seems to be playing his debut. Oh, at least this season. Yeah, he hasn't played this season. What's the betting that this fella scores against us? In midfield for them, 20 million, well, 19.5 million Acevedo, and then this young lad, wow, Aiden Kepens. They really have played a few kind of interesting starts here. This lad, Bilek, 21 million, and across the back, yeah. All right, let's go forward. Let's go play them. We've got one of the other things. Yeah, we had to say goodbye to Troy Deeney. He took the manager job at Wycombe Wanderers, and we were sad to see him go, considering that we coached him up and he took all the coaching courses, got to a pro level, and then left to go to Wycombe. All right, first couple of minutes in, important game. Southampton sitting top of the table, and we're obviously pushing for playoffs or even any kind of any kind of opportunity to get into the playoffs would be great. If we get automatic, I mean, that would be unbelievable. Oh, good save by their goalkeeper there. Love that ball from Joe Bryan, just clipped over the top onto Sacco, and he scored most of his goals like that from through balls from the fullbacks. Here we go, free kick. Maloleki, he's actually scored a couple earlier. Oof. Not sure where the goals are on this one. Maybe that's the reason why the game's 0-0. Yeah, Maloleki, this free kick he hit was unbelievable earlier in the season. From like 30 yards out, and it hit the inside of the post in the top corner. And then in the previous game, to try and kind of preserve and rotate the players, we played a full reserve team in the previous game and managed to get away with a 1-0 win. So our boys are feeling fresh. Here we go, corner of throw in, Luke Matheson throwing it in, their goalkeeper comes and collects. We've instructed Tanganga just to play short most of the time and safe, low risk. He doesn't really have the technique or skill that Maloleki does. And we're just possessing the ball deep and then ball over the top. Here's Lucas Poplar. And that's a poor finish towards, obviously, the near post. Where else would that shot go? Corner, Bruno Valdez. Another corner. Joe Bryan absolutely takes out their forward to prevent the counter-attack. Here we go, goal kick to Southampton, 35th minute. Ball over the top into Sacco, and there we go, 1-0. That is the lovely joys of having fullbacks that have great crossing ability. Nice finish by Sacco there, 1-0 up. And so far, Southampton, I mean, you never know with Champ. They've had one chance and one shot on target. But we seem to be dominating them right now. Here we go, free kick. Bruno Valdez scrambles around in the box, back out to Luke Matheson. Here we go, corner, Southampton. Can we stop the ball from coming back in? And counter. Uh-oh. Bruno Valdez with the ball out wide left. Cuts in. And Poplar puts away the rebound after Dewhurst looked like he just basically dropped the ball. Good pressing there by Bruno Valdez. Cuts in. Good save. And he follows up the rebound. 2-0 up. 14 shots to their 1. And this is Southampton, top of the league. Doing excellent. This is pretty good. Let's have a look at the summary. Mostly green. Lucas Poplar, only 4 passes completed, but doesn't really matter because if he scores them, that's great. We've got really good shots on target. Although Matheson has made three mistakes, but he's had a high cross completion. Let's go to the analysis. I don't really follow what the assistant says when it comes to changing shorter passing or going more direct. I set out my tactic the way I set out my tactic, and he changes halfway through. Here we go. Throw into Luke Bryan. Sacco to Potler. And that's magical by Lucas Potler, that is. And you can see the partnership that Sacco and Potler have. Little flick on by Sacco, and Potler skips past the challenge, takes on the centre-back, and then just finishes with a plum in the bottom right corner. It would be sad to see Lucas Potler go if he refused to sign a contract. I would rather sell him for a lot of money. That would be the ideal way. We don't really need to make any changes yet, other than maybe Pereira out on the right-hand side. We could give Nkunku a go, who is our most valued player. Let's put him out there. Good time to come on. 3-0 up at home. Bit of experience into the midfield. We've also got to be careful on Joe Bryan, who's having a great game, but don't want him to be too overtired as we go into the final 20 minutes of the game. That's a poor pass by the centre-back. It's a bit of a hopeful cross. Oh, you've got to deal with it, Joe. There you go. Back to the goalkeeper. There's that ball again. Joe Bryan, long ball over the top to Sacco. Nearly gets his brace. And with 15 to go, we'll take off Matheson. And we'll leave it like that. And then with 5 minutes to go, let's take off Sacco, who's had a great game, and we'll bring on Al Harthy just to kind of see if he can get. Here we go. Last couple of minutes, and this looks like a pretty comfortable win for Aylesbury over a team that is winning the league. And there you go. 3-0 at home to Southampton. Abubakar Sacco scored his 50th career goal. What a great result that is. And so let's have a look at what the table now looks like after basically kind of a 6-pointer there. We most likely might be still in second. I don't know if we switch over now, but that definitely brings us closer. There we go. After 22 games, we are 1 point behind Southampton, and I mean, we are what looks like 13, 12 points off of where 6th place is. If we can maintain this and keep Lucas Potler over the transfer window in January, we've got a good chance of making the Premier League. Okay, good update for everybody there, and I'll see you next time.